Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of In Conversation by Advisorkhoj. Today in conversation, our guest is Mr. Sanjay Bembalkar, Head Equity with Union Mutual Fund. Welcome, Sanjay, to In Conversation by Advisorkhoj today.
Pleasure is mine.
How are you doing today?
All well. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for your time. So, Sanjay, before we get into our conversation, if you could just tell our viewers about your investment management journey and experience.
Yeah, my investment management journey has been quite enriching. Over last 1.5 decades of experience, I have graduated from being a sell-side intern to current role of head of equity at Indian Asset Management. When I graduated from London School of Economics, I'm chartered accountant by background, and when I shifted back to India, from there my buy-side journey started. So that has
Sure.
been a quite enriching journey for me.
So 15 sides on the buy side, 15 years
Yes,
rather on the buy side. Wonderful.
yes.
So any mark changes have you found on the buy side in the past 1.5 decades experience?
So buy side, as you know, markets are quite dynamic, and markets always react to all the changes very dynamically. My understanding has been that we have to align to markets rather than markets has been aligned to us, and so it has always been the journey of unlearning and relearning throughout.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Sanjay, at this point of time, three of your schemes are celebrating their anniversary. The multi-asset fund has completed 1 year. The Innovation and Opportunities Fund has completed 2 years, and your retirement fund has completed 3 years. Now, when we look at all these three schemes, they are very different in their nature, correct? So, if you could just take our viewers very briefly as to what these three schemes are all about.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. It has been the keen observation. And on three of these schemes are very different in nature. On the multi-asset allocation strategy, that strategy is designed to capture various asset classes, particularly on the equities, fixed income, as well as the precious metals. So that has been the nature of that scheme. Innovation and opportunity scheme targets the innovation which are happening in Indian context, and Indian economy is going through a lot of disruption. We are
Hmm,
growing at much faster clip, and their idea is to capture those innovative companies.
hmm, hmm.
And third fund, retirement fund, is a evergreen fund. It's a solution oriented product where people want to save or target their retirement goals, and this scheme has been designed from that angle.
श्योर श्योर मल्टी एसेट की जब मैं बात करता हूँ पर्टिकुलरली हमने देखा है कि मल्टी एसेट प्रोडक्ट कैटेगरी का प्रेजेंस बहुत ही मोमेंटम बहुत ही पॉपुलर हुआ है पिछले लास्ट फ्यू इयर्स में सो इफ आई
जी,
वर टू आस्क अबाउट योर मल्टी एसेट फंड हाउ हैव यू पोजीशनड दैट प्रोडक्ट and how is the commodity gold silver REITs InvITs are you into international equities what's the how the way you manage the equity of the portfolio we just highlight on that please.
मल्टी एसेट एलोकेशन प्रोडक्ट जब हम डिजाइन कर रहे थे तो आई रियली एंजॉयड दैट जर्नी
Mm,
बिकॉज वी वेंट टू द बेसिक्स एंड वी आइडेंटिफाइड दैट देयर आर टू एसेट क्लासेस पर्टिकुलरली एक इफिशिएंसी एसेट क्लास है जो इक्विटीज और फिक्स इनकम जैसा है जो अपने जो कैश फ्लोज है कंपनीज के वहां से उसका वैल्यू और नेटवर्थ आता है वेयर एज ऑन द अदर साइड देर आर asset classes like precious metals, gold, silver, they derive their worth from pure demand and supply at any given point of time. There is no underlying cash flow for those commodities as such. एंड उनका जो कोरिलेशन है वो टिपिकली वेरी लो और निगेटिव कोरिलेशन रहा है ओवर
mm,
लॉन्गर पीरियड ऑफ टाइम एंड हम इसका यूज करके वी वांटेड टू डिजाइन दिस प्रोडक्ट व्हिच प्रोवाइड्स द रोबस्टनेस टू
mm.
द पोर्टफोलियो एंड दैट इज एग्जैक्टली व्हाट वी डिड सो फर्स्ट call because this is a long term oriented product was that having a equity taxation benefit, and that's why we chose 65% allocation to equities,
Mm.
including the hedge or arbitrage positions.
Sure, the
the
covered
second
positions. Mm.
the second allocation was on the precious metals, where we decided that it will have significantly large allocation to precious metals. So that is where the differentiation of this product comes through. We chose to have 22% allocation to gold and silver combined. And
22%.
today also in last 3 months, we have tilted our allocation from gold, which was 100% allocated to gold, 22%, to almost 10% allocation into silver now. And the third balancing figure is on the fixed income side,
Mm.
which provides a regular flow of accrual for the fund. This
So,
fund, if you look at, is managed in the equity portion of this fund is managed as a flexi-cap product. We don't
mm,
have any international equities or REITs at the current juncture in this fund.
right. Sure. But is the portfolio inbuilt that आप कर सकते हैं foreign equities or REITs etc. इसमें?
If we get the approvals from the regulators, we
Of
can do
course,
that.
yes, yes, certainly, certainly. And the equity, so usually is it more aggressively focused more towards the broader markets or more towards the large part, that 65% of the equity composition you mentioned?
No, equity side is quite dynamically managed based
Hmm.
on our view on the large cap, mid cap, and small cap. We are
Hmm.
free to change the allocation to what the fund manager's view is, and accordingly, it has been quite dynamic.
Sure. And I'm sure the fixed income part, the debt part, must be in very shorter maturity papers.
So even on the
And you
debt
would,
side,
hmm,
we have been quite dynamic in managing the durations.
okay,
So based on the fixed income team's view, the duration is managed. Currently, we are sitting on the slightly on the higher end of the duration
I
in
see.
this
So you
fund.
do take duration calls there as well.
Yes,
Sure,
yes.
sure. Excellent. Uh, आपका Union Innovation and Opportunities Fund, if you could also give some more, details about this fund.
Sure, sure. जब हमने स्टडी किया कि विच आर द कंपनीज विच हैव डिलीवर्ड सिग्निफिकेंट वैल्यू क्रिएशन फॉर
Hmm.
इन्वेस्टर्स, हमें एक फैक्टर मिला विच इज ऑन द न्यूनेस फैक्टर,
Hmm.
कि जहाँ पे भी कोई भी मार्केट में कुछ तो नई चीज जो हो रही है उसको मार्केट हमेशा रिवॉर्ड करता हुआ दिखाई देता है.
Hmm.
सो इसलिए व्हेन वी वांटेड टू डिजाइन दिस प्रोडक्ट ऑफ इनोवेशन एंड अपॉर्चुनिटीज, वी डिसाइडेड टू हैव अ वेरी रेजर शार्प फोकस ऑन द न्यूनेस प्रिंसिपल.
Hmm.
And in Indian context, we identified there are six clear buckets of
Hmm.
newness. One is either new service or product which companies are coming up. So, for example, food delivery is a
Yes.
new product which came into India, or new process when companies are coming with some new process. Even if there is a chemical company and they are coming up with some new process, that is something which interests us.
Hmm.
Government itself is innovating with PLI, the production linked incentive scheme which government came up. That is a new innovation which government is doing, and if companies are anchored to that, that is something which we thought that they will have a really new things coming up, like let's say mobile phone manufacturing ecosystem which is developing in India,
Hmm. Yes.
or there are, let's say, new managements or new markets which companies are getting into. So for example, suddenly luxury watch industry is booming, so it's a new product to say on the from the Indian context perspective, and our product hence became mid cap and small cap oriented. So instead of benchmark, which is having very less quantity of mid cap and small cap, or rather benchmark is having 70% plus allocation to large cap, whereas our product is having 75% allocation to mid cap and small caps. Our
Hmm.
active share is 92% plus in this
Hmm.
product. And that is the big differentiation. Here, our call was to provide a very razor sharp focus on innovation. And that's why, if you look at, we don't have any large heavyweights from the benchmark, particularly. So, for example, large FMCG companies or large pharma companies or large index heavyweights are almost absent in that fund. And that
Sure.
is why this product fund is completely different than it will be complementary to your current holding as well.
Sure. So it is a very well diversified
Mm.
portfolio, but certainly participating much more in the broader markets, essentially.
Yes.
And hence the large and mid composition will be about 70 odd
Mm.
percent. So essentially, it's a product definitely for the long-term investor who's coming in for the new creations and innovations happening across in the economy.
Just one difference that actually mid cap and small cap are 70% plus with our product,
Mid,
because we want to
mid
focus.
cap and small cap 70%.
Yes.
Yes.
So instead of in the benchmark it's a large cap oriented, whereas our product is mid cap and small cap oriented, and
Sure.
that's why it's a differentiated product in the
I
innovation
see. I see.
side.
So what will be the benchmark be for this fund?
It's a broad-based NSE 500. It's a thematic product, so it's a
Acha.
broad-based NSE 500 is the benchmark.
Okay. The benchmark is that, but the entire, the formation of this product is very different from the benchmark, so to speak.
G.
Sure, sure, sure. Very interesting. If you could also, briefly tell us about your, stock selection process. How many stocks are you covering, as a team together?
So, as a team, we cover 265 plus stocks
Hmm.
now.
Hmm.
We have broad-based our coverage now, because a lot of ideas are coming in the market, and new IPOs are also lining up. So that's why we have expanded our coverage in last 2 years from almost 180 stocks to 265 plus stocks.
Mhm.
We are broadening our team as well. The team expertise is also increasing, and that is the focus to this all endeavor is to capture the alpha ideas from the investors' point of view.
So, Sanjay, coming back to your innovation fund, how many stocks are you holding in this particular portfolio, Innovation and Opportunities Fund?
Sure. So this is a diversified product, and we believe that innovation happens across the sectors, particularly in Indian context, even electronic manufacturing ecosystem or electric cars. There are
Mm,
battery chemical companies which are coming up. That's why this product is diversified across the sectors.
mm,
Here, since we are able to find a lot of ideas across the sectors, this fund at any given point is having 60 plus stocks at any given point of time.
sure. So essentially, it doesn't have a very long tail, to so to speak.
Yes.
Sure. So it's a very high conviction related investment propositions which you keep in the portfolio.
Yes, and also, Surinji, interestingly, we have to identify ideas
Hmm,
where there is a significant part of the value unlocking is happening because of the innovation which is happening, rather than innovation should be the hero of those stocks rather than it on the sidelines.
I agree.
Here, we have to also look at which are the companies where there can be growth trap.
Hmm,
Like value trap, I believe there is a growth trap as well, because a lot of these companies, because they are coming in new themes, they may show you that okay, we will achieve this kind of targets, or there may be X percentage kind of growth. But
hmm,
as a financial analyst, as a professional fund manager, we have to assess that whether that achievement is likely and what are the bottlenecks for that, and whether financially that's possible for them. Because if any company is promising to grow at X percentage, and but their balance sheet doesn't support that, what happens over a period of time, that growth falls. And you, when growth falls, there is not only EPS derating, there is also PE derating significantly, leads to double whammy for the stocks, and that is something which we have to avoid those pitfalls as such.
sure, sure, sure. Um, you know, we are having our conversation today at a time when markets, are going through a very up and down cycle.
Yes.
Just wanted to understand a couple of things. Key in the recent past few months, as we have seen, almost about 18 months, the markets have been in the nature they are today. What have been certain sectoral shifts and market cap shifts which probably have been done in your equity schemes across? And the extension of the question is key. How do you read the equity markets? Of course, I'm not referring to the short term. I'm referring to the long term. How do you read the equity markets? Because everybody is certainly talking about that. Okay, the earning per share is EPS at 10 and valuation at 20 trailing. It is not coming out to be really a very attractive, lucrative market as we speak. So we have seen, a lot of FPI selling in at least YTD. So, what do you believe, the markets to be going ahead? And thirdly, the third part of the question is that, uh, we always keep talking about the FPIs, etc., coming in and taking out their money. Do we really need the FPI money now as we speak? Because our markets have matured because of the DIIs quite a lot. So, just your thoughts and views on that.
Sure, sure. So I'll tell you, the journey for last 12, 18 months, as you rightly said, has been quite dynamic.
Hmm.
There has been geopolitical events, tariff wars. Even in India, there has been discussion about consumption.
Hmm.
However, I must say that government has reacted to all these events quite on the mature way. The three key events which are likely to take place over next year, or already there some events are undergoing, is one is direct tax benefits which government
Hmm.
has given, GST benefits which government has given, and now the pay commission which will kick in from the next year.
Yes,
So
yes.
these are the three big events which are likely to put large sum of money from the government's hands to consumers or investors' hand, and that is going to shape up our journey for next some time. Last 12 to 18 months, if you look at, as you rightly said, it has been the event of earnings has been quite lackluster.
Hmm.
Consumption story has been questioned. FII have seen significant withdrawal from Indian market as
Hmm.
such.
Hmm. Hmm.
And currently, we are sitting at a juncture where Indian economy and Indian consumption is on the turnaround basis.
Hmm.
So that's why we believe that worst is behind from the equity market perspective. In
Okay.
fact, if you look at 12 months back, we were sitting overweight on large caps. Today, we believe that all the large cap, mid cap, and small cap, all these three market cap categories are having equal risk reward from the investor perspective.
I
And
see.
investors should participate in all these three
Hmm.
market caps going ahead. That is the thought which we are having. On the sectoral side, we are tilted on the overweight side on the consumer discretionary, industrials, and telecom.
Sure.
We are underweight on global linked sectors like IT. That is how the overall changes have been in the portfolio.
Sure.
And on your question about FIIs, see FII, if you look at broader market of BSE 500, they constitute 18% of the holdings of the
Yeah,
BSE
it's
500 is
dramatically
retail.
dropped. Yeah. Hmm.
Yes, but still it's a chunkier
Yeah,
holding
it
which they
is.
are having. That's
Definitely.
why, as a professional investor, we should be cognizant that what they are
Hmm.
doing. We
Hmm.
believe that they are sitting underweight on the Indian markets as well as on the global emerging markets. And as we see some kind of stabilization in our currency, we may see FIs may coming back to Indian markets.
Sure, yes. Because if you look at the Nifty dollar adjusted returns, I think they have been the worst compared to the emerging markets as we speak, because the way INR has depreciated towards the dollar as well. So coming back to the question about your market shifts and sector shifts in your portfolio in the past 12, 18 months, have you increased your cash positions, or when the market has been extremely volatile? So do you believe in taking cash positions in your equity portfolios?
So Surenji, on the open-ended products, we don't take significant cash calls.
I
Our
see.
cash typically hovers between 3 to 5%.
Right.
There are some products like solution-oriented products like children and retirement fund,
Hmm.
where investors are not able to withdraw money during the 5-year lock-in period. That is the portfolio. Those are the portfolios where we can take cash calls.
Sure.
Currently, we are sitting somewhere around 3.5%
So
position in
generally,
cash across
okay,
portfolios.
sure. So generally, 3 to 4% cash is what is the fund believes to keep in. Excellent.
Sure.
Sure.
Yes.
Right. And what do you think of this DIIs? Of course, today mutual fund has become a very large inflow. We all hear about the SIP numbers coming in, etc. And then we see a lot of other DII is also investing. So आपको लगता है कि we are fairly balanced? And of course, how can I miss the retail participation which is happening and the IPOs which are coming in the market? There is so much happening. So today, if I were to think, I think म्यूचुअल फंड की जरूरत बहुत ज्यादा पड़ गई है, because आज से 10-15 साल पहले अगर हम देखें, there were not too many IPOs coming in, correct? So the selection process for an investor was not as difficult and tough as it is today, because there's so many IPOs coming now and then, compared to a decade or 2 decades ago. So mutual fund, of course, is the best vehicle, because we give the money to the best of the minds like you in the industry to manage, and you people decide, okay, where to invest, etc. So now my question is that रिटेल पार्टिसिपेशन इतना बढ़ गया है, DIIs भी आ रहा है, म्यूचुअल फंड का इन्फ्लोज भी आ रहा है. सो डू यू बिलीव दैट टुडे DIIs inflows is actually balancing the FII outflows, and do you think we are more or less quite settled as far as this FPI going out and DIIs regularly investing? Because every day when you open the numbers, you're only seeing that FII net sold, DII net bought. So what are your thoughts on that?
No, indeed, you are absolutely correct. That DI and retail participation has been the big
Hmm.
factor in the Indian markets in recent history. What we have to think through is that since, as you rightly said, the mutual fund and retail participation has been the key pillar for the markets,
Hmm.
what we have to also see through is that these new investors which have come after 2020, particularly, how do
Hmm.
they react to this current slowdown? Because they
Very
have
good
not
point.
seen the
Very
cycles.
good point.
They are they have not seen the cycles
Uh,
last 12 months, almost negligible return from the market perspective. How
जी,
this money reacts to that is something which we are keenly watching from
जी,
our perspective.
या एब्सोल्युटली, बिकॉज उन्होंने ज्यादा लंबी मंदी मार्केट देखी नहीं है एक तरीके से.
जी बिल्कुल
पिछले
बिल्कुल.
12 से
And
18 महीने.
markets are markets.
एब्सोल्युटली, एब्सोल्युटली. अच्छा, एक और सवाल मेरे को पूछना था आपसे कि अभी देखिए, CRR कट भी हुआ 1% का, 4 to 3, and of course 25 basis each until November. So we will be seeing almost about 2.5 lakh crore liquidity coming into the market starting September end. But if you look at from the credit code cycle, the banking credit, uh, July 2024 numbers, if I remember, 25 numbers, if I remember, we saw about 9.9% growth in banking credit vis-a-vis 16.1% in the previous month, previous year of the same month. So credits growth, banking credit growth is certainly coming down, right? So, and now we have more liquidity coming in. That's what RBI is trying to do, make the credit available more and at a cheaper cost. So, do you think will that help, or generally, the corporate borrowing has slowed down, because that will really impact the earnings growth as well going forward? What are your thoughts on that?
देखिए, ओवरऑल इंडियन इकोनॉमी is operating at a very high utilization rate
Hmm.
currently.
Hmm.
So if you look at from the RBI data, or there are multiple databases which are telling you that Indian economy's utilization rate is quite high. If you look at this GST benefit, direct tax benefit, and EMI reduction,
Hmm.
there
Hmm.
is going to be significant cash shift from the hands of government to investors or consumers. And what they do with that cash is going to determine significantly for Indian economy.
Hmm. Hmm.
My belief is as consumption boom comes in, as people start consuming more, the utilization levels will hit the level where now there will be much more capex requirement. In
Sure.
fact, I believe that there is going to be capex going to be increased rather than decrease in the
Hmm. Hmm.
upcoming future years,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that should lead to a shift from this on the capex side. As companies spend on this capex, they are likely to tap into even the banking credit, and that growth should that we should see that growth in the financial markets or the financial system as well. What has happened also in the recent past, because the markets have been elevated, lot
Hmm.
of investors or MNC companies or even the promoter groups, private equities, have
Hmm.
taken this opportunity to take some money out from the market. But I
Yes.
believe that's a healthy sign. That's a
Hmm.
healthy sign from the long-term perspective, that anybody who has invested and taken that risk at
Hmm.
that point of time, they're able to encash that over a period of time. In my opinion, is a healthy sign for from the capital
Hmm.
market perspective.
Hmm.
So I'm quite positive or optimistic on the financial loan growth going ahead from the Indian market perspective.
Sure, sure, absolutely. And I think GST, rate reduction is something which will be coupled with this, liquidity coming into the banking system and, booming the consumption, so to speak, because almost 60 to 63%, of our economic activity in the country is led by private consumption. So that should probably
Absolutely,
help. And
absolutely.
rightly said, the cycle should probably spin off from there. So अगर मैं
Correct.
आपसे पूछूं, संजय, how are you looking at the markets from a medium to a long term perspective? Are you conservative? Are you moderate? Or are you positive?
I would put myself in the positive camp.
Sure.
I believe that economy is likely to have a cyclical recovery,
Hmm, hmm.
and that will be very well be visible in numbers across sectors like consumer discretionary, industrials. These sectors will benefit materially going
Sure.
ahead.
Sure.
Oh, as you rightly said earlier, there would be issues like tariff wars, there would be
Hmm,
issues like geopolitical
hmm.
uncertainty, which will be there, and that is something which we have to be cognizant of. If
Yes.
you look at even from the PE and EPS delivery point of view, I believe that EPS delivery for Indian market is going to be much substantially higher in FY27, and EPS growth is likely to accelerate. And in our opinion, the PE de-rating room is quite limited.
Sure.
So we should expect similar EPS delivery kind of linked growth in the Indian markets as well.
Sure. Wonderful. Wonderful. So, through this in conversation today, if I were to ask, what message would you like to give to all the viewers listening to you, about Union Mutual Fund, your equity funds, and of course, the three specific funds which we spoke about?
Sure, sure. So, at Union Asset Management, we have taken a very practical approach towards the market, and even all the funds which we manage are very true to mandate. In fact, all the funds have strategic, tactical options and defensive buckets. So, there are not only strategic ideas, but even the tactical ideas is something which we are looking at very specifically. And all funds are geared uh, towards the investors' alpha rather than looking at anywhere else, and
Hmm.
that is something which has been the quite unique from the Union Mutual Fund perspective. So I expect that because Indian economy is on the cyclical recovery, and as we discussed, there is going to be good period going ahead from next 5 to 10 years perspective. From India perspective, we believe that investors should not miss the forest for the trees. They should focus on the long term, and they should have a disciplined approach towards all their investing goals.
Very well put across, very full put, because they should not get confused. Just have a very clear focus as what are they in for in the equities for the long term. So, well, for our viewers, this is Mr. Sanjay Bembalkar, Head Equities with Union Mutual Fund. As you all heard, that Union Mutual Fund has 3 anniversaries. The multi-asset fund has completed 1 year. The Innovation and Opportunity Fund has covered 2 years, and the Retirement Fund has completed 3 years. And so, Sanjay, first of all, congratulations, from Advisorkhoj for these 3 anniversaries. And I think the way you took us, across how the markets you believe are going to be, your processes, and how these products are managed, and your thoughts on the markets going ahead. So, thank you very, very much for joining and taking out time for this today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.